This is big breaking emergency news. We just saw a major cyber attack and a major hack, and presidential documents are now being released. Internal memos are now being released, and internal presidential communications have been released as well. All right, a lot of insider information was just released and hacked, and this is big. All right, this is a major warning potentially for things to come later this year. All right, so let's dive into the details here really quick, guys. Please just hit it up for me down there. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I'm posting every single day, keeping you guys updated on this big news. And if you hit that bell and click all, you'll get notified for all my videos I'm posting every day. All right, but this is what's going on right now. We just had a major cyber attack, and this is affecting the presidential election. Right, this is affecting Trump as well. Trump's internal documents and memos are being leaked and released to the press and the public right now. Right, internal communications and internal documents, all from the Trump campaign, have been hacked and released to the public. All right, we're going to dive into some of the things that have been released, but this is big, and this is another major warning for potentially something else to come. All right, because these attacks are not going away. They are not relenting. All right, we also have flights being canceled as well for months going on over in the Middle East, and we are also having reports of strikes coming potentially in the next 24 hours. All right, we will get into more details of that in a little bit. And there's been reports allegedly of massive oil rigs that have blown up as well in the Black Sea. All right, we will get to more details of that. And also major strikes going on inside of Gaza, mass casualty events. All right, so lots of big news coming out tonight, and this is all related because they are saying Microsoft put out this warning and the Trump campaign confirmed it, and they are saying that this is potentially related to a foreign actor, right? Some type of foreign government or foreign actor has committed these hacks, right? And potentially even someone on the inside even could be giving away information as well too, right? We're not exactly sure what's going on here. There could be people on the inside that are sabotaging these situations too and potentially leaking out information. So here's what's going on. It says Trump campaign says international communications were hacked, including Vance, quote, dossier by foreign sources. Right? And the campaign noted that the hacking comes after reports of an Iranian plot to assassinate former President Trump. Right? And it says this is a statement from President Trump's campaign. It says, quote, these documents were obtained illegally from foreign sources hostile to the United States, intending to interfere with the 2024 election and sow chaos throughout our democratic process. That's what Stephen Chung, communications director for the Trump campaign, said, right? He also went on to say, quote, on Friday, a new report from Microsoft found that Iranian hackers broke into the account of a, quote, high-ranking official on the U.S. presidential campaign in June 2024, which coincides with the close timing of President Trump's selection of vice presidential nominee, he added. Right? He also said, quote, the Iranians know that President Trump will stop their reign of terror just like he did in the first 4 years in the White House. Any media or news outlet reprinting documents or internal communications are doing the bidding of America's enemies and doing exactly what they want. Right? That is what the communications director is saying for Trump's campaign. So he's saying that don't spread these documents. Don't spread them around. and he's saying allegedly the Iranians did it. Okay, and even if it wasn't them, there are lots of people that want to do this, that are trying to hack Trump. Okay, and Iran has this capability, and they do have beef with Trump from General Soleimani, one of their top generals that was taken out under the Trump administration. But there could be bad actors exploiting the situation as well, and Iran gets blamed for it too. All right, they're both sides of this coin, but it's also a very real threat too. All right, Trump, you can bet that Trump's taking all of these different assassination threats and cyber events seriously. All right, you can bet he knows he's being targeted, and nothing is safe right now. All right, he can't make a phone call, he can't email, he can't text. No communications are safe from these hacks, all right, and from spying, all this stuff. Do you remember in 2016 all the spying that went on Trump? Okay, they had FISA warrants for Trump to spy on his communications in 2016, right? Going all the way back then, if you guys even remember that, right? This has been going on for almost a decade, and now these internal communications are even being hacked too, right? There was also a emergency at a Trump rally too. We will get to that in just a second. More details on that. But you can see here it says documents sent to Politico included a 271-page dossier that the Trump campaign had put together on his eventual running mate, Senator J.D. Vance from Ohio, that dated back to February, the outlet said. All right. So all these documents have been leaked and released. And the person that sent it to him, they are going under Robert. Right? And this is what they said. This is very suspicious, the thing that they said. Right? It says the outlet reported that it began receiving emails from somebody identifying themselves as, quote, Robert, using an anonymous AOL account on July 22nd, just days after the Republican National Convention ended and Trump announced Vance as his running mate. Okay, and this was also 9 days after the Trump assassination attempt, right? And this is what, quote, Robert said, quote, I suggest you don't be curious about where I got these documents from. Any answer to this question will compromise me and also legally restrict you from publishing them. That's a quote, right? So legally restrict you from publishing them, right? Doesn't really make sense how they can say their name's Robert, but if they say, oh, I'm from a foreign country, I'm from Iran or China or whatever, or some hacking group, it could be anything, okay? There could be a dozen different answers to this, but even Microsoft is saying that they believe that it's foreign governments, potentially Russia, China, or Iran, that are doing these attacks. Microsoft even put out a alert for this too, confirming this hack of President Trump's campaign, and they're saying that other people running for office are also being compromised as well. But why would this person, they said it will compromise them and also then legally restrict them from publishing the documents. All right, so if you did say, hey, I'm from this country, why would it legally restrict them? Okay, they would probably already be legally restricted under potentially things like copyright and things like that. All right, it would get messy, these documents, but these documents were not legally obtained, so they shouldn't even be releasing these. All right, but maybe it's somebody inside too. Right, that's my point here, is that maybe there's a mole. There could be a mole inside of the Trump campaign that's potentially working with someone, working with outside sources, actors. There could be anyone, right? Could be any type of bad actors that's trying to target Trump right now and his campaign. Right? And we also got information that the documents were saying that also Senator Marco Rubio was the second runner-up for the campaign. All right, just something to note. But there was also a medical emergency at a Trump rally. Okay, so Trump had a rally yesterday in Montana, and one of the rally goers had a medical emergency, and Trump had to stop the rally for a few minutes for the situation to be taken care of, and people were taken out, carted out. They had to get emergency personnel over and help them get out. All right, so that also happened yesterday in Montana. I will give you more updates on this person's status. We don't have information on if they are okay or not, but there was a medical emergency there in Montana yesterday on top of this flight emergency too. All right, so there's a lot of weird stuff going on right now. All right, let's get into this other news here of these flights being canceled in the Middle East, these attacks going on, all this stuff. Let's get into some details here because these things are related, and these foreign countries could be targeting Trump right now and could be targeting our country. And they also could be the scapegoat, right? Both things are true. But as things ramp up in the Middle East, these attacks, more likely it's going to be true that we're seeing retaliation attacks, right? So just to start off, Air India has announced that they're canceling all further commercial flights to and from Tel Aviv, Israel, until at least November 1st. All right, so that's months out, 3 months out almost. They're canceling flights. Air India. India has 1 billion people, right? And India is actually one of the main countries that has immigration to Israel for certain jobs and things like that, right? They do fill a sector over there. So that's big that they are canceling commercial flights to and from Tel Aviv until November 1st, right? Because they're saying that the current situation across the Middle East has deteriorated. All right, we are also seeing reports from Israeli newspapers that both the U.S. and Israeli officials are expecting Hezbollah to launch their retaliatory strikes for the assassination of a senior commander in the next 24 hours. All right, that's what's being reported in the past few hours. It's Saturday night right now, so potentially Sunday night, like midday Sunday for us here, like early Sunday for us here. Maybe this will happen, right? Who knows? Not sure exactly, or maybe Sunday night, right? Most of the time these attacks happen at nighttime over there, all right? But they're offset from us here in the U.S., or most of our viewers here. All right, I know we have people all around the world, and I appreciate all you guys and all the support. All right, there's also right now Ukraine has blown up a Russian oil rig in the Black Sea, allegedly killing 40 soldiers. All right, this is a big development. Russia has declared a state of emergency nationwide, right? And they are on high alert for these attacks because Ukraine has been pushing into their borders the past week. All right, there's been a major offensive from Ukraine, and Russia's actually evacuating tens of thousands of people right now from these key regions, right? But there was also a hit to this Russian oil rig. This is big, and this was right west of Crimea. Okay, so there's a lot of activity going on, a lot of things bubbling up, and the tables are really turning in that part of the world, at least for now. All right, we will see what happens, but there's been a major offensive into Russia's states of emergencies, and they're on high alert, right? And Putin is not happy right now, to say the least, right? So a lot of things bubbling up, and that's why we could see potentially these cyber attacks, because the US has been involved in these wars directly or indirectly, right? Whether through funding, assistance, providing the backbone, right? Providing weaponry, providing aircraft, right? There's a lot of ways that the US has been involved in this war in the Middle East and now in Europe. So we could see these countries try to justify attacks on the US, especially cyber attacks, right? And we are also seeing strikes happen in Gaza. Okay, allegedly a strike killed 93 people in Gaza, an Israeli airstrike in a school in Gaza, allegedly, right? And they're saying that a lot of women and children were there, okay? And the other side is saying that they were harboring people there. They were hiding militants there, okay? So they strike this area. So that's what's happening there too, right? This is not de-escalating, right? We are not seeing ceasefires. We're not seeing de-escalations. We're not seeing peace in these parts of the world, right? And it's already affecting us here in the US directly, and it's only a matter of time before we start seeing more direct effects here, especially when we see these trade routes disrupted as well too, these oil routes and trade routes in the Red Sea that have already been disrupted, right? The US has already diverted most of its traffic, but we could see it completely cleared out if a bigger war does pop off, right? And they're saying that potentially in the next 24 hours we could see retaliatory strikes from Iran, right? And their groups. So please guys, just hit it up for me down there. It helps to get these warnings out so people know what's going on, and you need to be getting prepared. All right, you need to be getting ready. We've been getting our ducks in a row, things in order here. All right, because we already have our homestead. We already have dozens of chickens. We already have projects here working on our garden here, but we are going next level, right? It's time to go next level. It's time to double down. And I will keep you guys updated, but it's go time, right? It's time to get completely detached from these supply chains, these supply lines, the grid, all these things. It's go time. It's now or never, because these things are bubbling up, all right? And we already saw, do you remember this CrowdStrike glitch that happened? Whether it was a glitch or not, there could be people on the inside, first of all, causing these glitches and just say it's a glitch. And second of all, they can just cover and say it was a glitch when it's something big enough like this. And cover up major cyber attacks, right? That had flights grounded. This happened just a couple weeks ago. Flights around the world were grounded from this, right? Bank accounts were disrupted. Payment processing was disrupted, right? This keeps happening. These major cyber events and cyber attacks, they're not rare anymore, right? They keep happening, and we could see a big one, right? I think that CrowdStrike one that happened a couple weeks ago now, I think that was a big test run, major test run for something even bigger to happen. And make sure you guys have alternative forms of communication like satellite internet, satellite phones, things like that on top of your cell phone, because it could go out easily, right? Or it can be overwhelmed very easily. Just last week, right, when the power was out from this Hurricane Debbie, right, we were right in the foreground of it when it was coming onto land. And just last week, our power was out for a little bit. And everyone else's power was out too around us. And our phone would not work. It barely worked. It just was not working. Nothing was loading. It said I had a bar, but nothing was working. Nothing was loading. And a lot of times that happens is because, first of all the power's out, so none of the Wi-Fi is working, right? Your Wi-Fi router is not working anymore. You're wired. Unless you have a generator to plug that in, you got to plug your satellite in too. But you can have a satellite phone that's on a battery too. But all the Wi-Fi's out, first of all, and then all the towers. So when the Wi-Fi's out, everyone's using their phone, right? So that's overloading the towers even more. When the power's out, Wi-Fi's out, everyone's on their phone. And then there's also a lot of these towers that are out too from the power outage. Some of the towers are down, so there's less signal as well that's just going around too. There's less towers that are up from this power outage that are being affected. Right, so our phones were not working at all during this power outage. And they don't work great, right, when we're not on Wi-Fi. But they were not working at all. Couldn't do anything on it. So we had to get the Wi-Fi going, right? Get the generator cranked up and get the satellite internet going. Get the dish fired up and get the router fired up for that, so we can have internet. All right, so just something to think about in these situations if we do have any type of disruptions from this, right? And have some cash too. It's still going to work. It's a lot of times when these internet systems are down, your card will not be processed, right? This was happening with this CrowdStrike outage, right? People's cards and certain banks were not able to process payments. So have some cash too, in case it's an emergency like that and you need to buy something. You at least have some spare cash. So thank you guys. Hope you have big blessings for your life, your family. Hope you're getting ready for what's coming next, right? We can all feel it. Thank you guys, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.